Hi, everybody, and welcome to Curing the Incurable Phase 2, really. And I haven't really thought of a good title or a different title to call Curing the Incurable. It was given to me by Gary Douglas, founder of Access Consciousness, after a 3 or 4 year run-in with ulcerative colitis, where I lost enough weight to feed the entire nation of South Africa and also Christina Bob's entire family. I was down to about 39 kilos and I looked like a man of about 85 years old, or better still, I looked like somebody that had just walked out of Auschwitz. Now, when I started Access, I started to apply the tools and the processes and the body processes to create a different reality with my body and my life and my money flows and my relationships and everything. And I wrote this little book in the first year of Access called Curing the Incurable. Now, I'm not going to go through the tools of Curing the Incurable because phase 2 is like, this book was written 10 years ago or so. Phase 2 really came about when I went onto the internet and I did some research. I did the same sort of research that I did 12, 13 years ago when I was really, really sick. And when I was really, really sick, there was not much information out there other than, change your diet, pray to God, get your intestines cut out, do the medication, meditate. And so I had nowhere to go. I had nothing different to show up in my life. And it was, I made that demand, like if I'm out of here, I'm going to say goodbye to my family and I'm out of here if I can't find a cure. So as soon as I made that choice, it was about a month or maybe, it was probably about 4 months that I found Access Consciousness. I had my bars run and it changed everything. I bought a book called Embodiment, the manual you should have been given when you were born, by Dr. Dane here, and I read that inside out. Now, fast forwarding to this year, I started to do some research, again, the same research as I just said, and there are people now like doing YouTubes on the stuff that I've been talking about for the last 12 years. And I went, oh my God, this reality has just caught up with me. And I went, wow, okay, cool. So maybe now's the time to take people that one step further. One step beyond, as they say. So I chose to create this class so that we can go further. We can create a different reality. So please forgive me if you're new to Curing the Incurable, if you're new to Access Consciousness, I thoroughly recommend you get one of those 2 books. Either my book, of course, my book's much better than Dr. Dane Here's book. He's only written about 12 books. I've only written about 10 books. So I need some cheering for Curing the Incurable. I stole some of his tools and put them in here, by the way. So that will give you the basis. So if you're watching this and it's new for you, go and buy the book. It's only $20 as a digital download, and get into it and start applying the book to your life. I actually wrote it, so as you read the book, it will actually start to change your life if you're willing to receive. So we'll be going for maybe half an hour to 45 minutes today. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask the question. I'm not very good, and thank you for the happy birthday greeting from Brazil. I'm not very good at reading down in the chat, so I might miss your question. So if I miss your question, you've got to make sure that you step up and you have a voice. And this is one of the things that is it is part of curing the incurable, is so many of us get washed away being nice and I don't matter, and I put everybody else first and everything else first. And then what happens is your life goes down the gurgler because you're putting everybody else first, and you're not living. You're not living the life that you could be. And it's exactly that. You living your life, you having a voice for you that's true for you, is part of creating a different reality. Dr. Dane calls it being you. Yeah. I call it being the dominant entity in your reality. Yeah. So if we look at the world of entities, which is part of curing the incurable, but not only from the ghost point of view, but also as in other people. How many other people are significant entities or significant others in your reality that you cut you off for? And every time that you do that, you dull your sharpness. You dull who you be. You dull that diamond. And now I know a diamond is really hard, but after doing this for 4 trillion years, it's sort of like you start to grind down that point of the diamond, and you start to become flat. And this is the beginnings of disease. And we're going to have a look at how disease is created in the first 15 or 20 minutes. This is really the beginning of disease, is our capacities to take our kindness and caring and nurturing and bend, fold, and mutilate ourselves for everybody else. And so we cut off our very being. But it's our very being and the willingness to choose for us that actually creates our lives. So by choosing to cut you off and make yourself less and smaller and insignificant, what you end up doing is you start to create disease in your reality. Now, there's 2 types of diseases. One is acute and one is chronic. Now, acute diseases are like some of those rapid onset cancers that can, just suddenly sneak up on someone, and in six weeks to 6 months, they're fucking dead. That's it. That's an acute one. That's when somebody has got to the point in their life where they're either totally bored with this reality, or they're making themselves so wrong that they don't want to be here any longer and they choose to die. And there is nothing wrong with that. And I do have a point of view. No, I don't have a point of view about it, actually. A lot of people have a point of view that it's wrong to have euthanasia as part of our reality. For me, I look at it from this point of view. Why are we even having that debate? This reality is about choice. You choosing means that you are creating your life and living. And if you no longer want to be in this sucky reality, interesting point of view, or this amazing reality, or whatever it is, and you don't even need to have a reason for it. It's just like, I want to go and get a new body. Like, there's nothing wrong in that. Some people can also create acute diseases, like in accidents, etc., where it's here one moment, gone the next. Now, and then there's the chronic disease, and many of us have chronic diseases. Many of us have, have had that bad back for like 20 or 30 years, and it's just getting worse. Many of us have had things like, I created ulcerative colitis for 4 or 5 years. When we were kids, like tonsillitis. Oh, nice fart. that was to the ulcer. That was somebody maybe having ulcerative colitis. Thank you so much. And I've completely lost it now. How does it get any better than that? It's a brain fart. Yeah. And so and what we're really doing there is that we're not living, we're avoiding dying. Every decision that we're making in that position is avoiding dying. You know, so it's sort of like you might like choose when you're buying a car, for instance, you might choose to buy for the price rather than the fun, and then maybe that's a little bit more expensive, and then but because it's more fun, it's a contribution to you, so it's easier for you to create the money for the future for that. But what we do is that we go, oh no, if I don't have the money, or if I spend all my money on that, I won't have the money to do X, Y, and Z. So we go into the future by trying to avoid losing the money. We try to avoid, with our bodies, we try to avoid dying. Like when I was in Brazil, I went hang gliding, and you know, like that first jump off is like really quite amazing. But I tried to avoid it because I didn't want to die. How many of you guys are doing that, living your life by trying to avoid dying? It does not work. So everywhere where you are trying to avoid living, or trying to avoid dying, would you now give that up and destroy and uncreate it all? Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, ice, short boys and beyonds. And that's the access clearing statement. If you don't remember it, if you're new to access, that's okay. You can just say everything Liam said, or everything that is pod and pocket. It's very scientific in nature. If you want to know more about it, go to the theclearingstatement.com. I thoroughly recommend going to it, even if you know what it means, because it's good to listen to. Dr. Dane's got audio about it. Now, so that's the beginnings of disease. We've got one other thing I was talking to that creates disease. And I was talking to Gary about this the other day. And I was saying to him, because I'm cute, I'm not very bright, I said to him, is it really, really true, really true that one thought can destroy your body? And he said to me, Liam, 1 second of unconsciousness can create 1 trillion years of pain and suffering. Yeah? And like, you get it when you get it. I can say that to you now, and you're like, you can understand it cognitively, but like, come back to this video, even if you don't do any more access after this, come back to this video in 5 years time, 10 years time, when things have changed, listen to that bit again, and you'll go, holy moly. Because that's vital information to have, because every stray thought that you have, it intersects a cell within your body. And it's just like radiation for cancer treatment. What they're doing is they're intercepting a cell directly with a thought. But in this case, it's not a thought of I love you or I'm a bad person or whatever it is. It's an electromagnetic radiation that goes into the cell and it kills the cell. And this is what happens with thoughts, feelings, and emotions. When you have a thought, a feeling, or emotion, and it goes through your body, you have the thought, you turn it into a feeling, it goes into your cell and ellipticizes the cell, and that's the beginnings of disease. Now, tomorrow, I've got a class called Molecular Demanifestation and Demolecular Manifestation, which is about creating with the molecules and talking with the molecules and engaging the elements in a way that you can manipulate things and change things. Now, one of the other things with choosing consciousness as part of your cure, because the cure will show up when you choose consciousness, but part of that also is as you become more conscious, you create quicker. So if you have one of those thoughts, feelings, or emotions and make it significant or create a story out of it in any way, then you can create that in your reality 10 times quicker than you could maybe 10 years ago when you had your head up your butt. Yeah. So please be aware of that, because I know that there are people on this call that have done years and years of consciousness work, and they're wondering why that disease or that illness has shown up again, or they've created some weird ass shit in their money flows, or a disease in a relationship, or another disease in their body. So you've really got to be aware of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you're having. And I do talk about it in the book, but I'm going to give you this tool now, especially if you're a newbie. And if you already know this, please use it. And it's who does it belong to? So every thought, feeling, and emotion that you have, it's not yours. 98% of them are not yours. You're just this walking antenna that goes around picking up all these thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And so I'm here in Australia for some medical attention at the moment. And like, after I'd been to the doctors one day this week, I started to have such bad headaches. It was like, oh my God, is this part of what I've created? That's not really a question. That's a question mark. That's a question. That's a statement with a question mark at the end. And then I started asking, who does this belong to? Who does this belong to? Is it mine? Is it somebody else's? Is it something else's? And every time that I asked that question, the lightest one was it's something else's. And I realized that it was the planets. And so I went for a walk out in nature, and immediately, 10 minutes, 2 days of pain went, like that's incredible. And that's not supposed to be able to occur. This is why we've got things like curing the incurable, because people like doctors, medical deities, regular people, they don't see possibility. They only see from their point of view. So if you buy their thoughts, feelings, and emotions, say like from a doctor, you're all fucked up, and you buy that as real, you're now having a thought that actually creates their reality. It actually makes their reality stronger. So every time that you buy that thought, it destroys your body so that their reality becomes stronger. So everywhere where you're buying everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions and solidifying this reality of judgment, of limited point of view, would you now be willing to destroy and uncreate it all and give it up to Rachel Salter in New Zealand? She'll take them for $1 million each. Oh my God, you'll be a trillionaire in no time. Yeah. Okay. So that's the basic mechanics of creating disease. Any questions there that you would like to ask, or anything that you need clarity on?
So, Liam, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So in the buying, what you were just talking about there, when you buy a doctor's point of view,
or a homeopathic's point of view.
Or a homeopath's point of view. Thanks.
Rachel is an awesome homeopath, actually.
Well, that was an interesting point of view.
No, that is true. Don't receive that.
Okay, I'll receive that. Thank you. The thing that sticks you and the doctor is what you're saying is it's because you've aligned and agreed with them. Is that what that meant?
Well, in a way that you have aligned and agreed with them, or you've resisted and reacted to them. either way, you create more of the polarity. Yeah. So like when I first started, or just before I started curing the incurable in the good old sick days, you know, like I resisted and reacted to my doctors, and I had the rightness of my point of view that you could beat it with alternative medicine or alternative foods or something like that, you know. So, but I still created the polarity of this reality. So the thing is, when you create the polarity of this reality, you can't cure anything. You can't have a different possibility. You can only have the possibilities that are available in this reality.
Mm.
And then so you're just swinging from one side to the other. It's like, because in Australia right now there's this big debate about euthanization. And it's sort of like there's one team that is pro and one team that is con, but both are just a point of view, but both are highly charged. So they don't look at the choice that people have. They're trying to control you with their point of view. And when you buy somebody's point of view, then you're buying their thoughts, their feelings, and emotions. The amazing thing is, this happens at an energetic level. Yeah, like I was in the doctor the other day, and that I was having a chat with them, and in their head it was like, "You're fucked up," and out of their mouth was, "Yeah, this is easy to take care of." Yeah. Now, but you're psychic. Yeah. You know you're psychic because you know when your mum's going to ring, because you pick up the phone just as they're about to do it. You've all had that. So all these thoughts, feelings, and emotions are flying around. Now we have these things as well. Like how often are you within Wi-Fi range these days? Nearly 900% of the time. Yeah. Which means you're picking up every thought, feeling, and emotion that is flying through Facebook. And if you're not willing to be aware of that, then you start buying it as yours. That's why that tool, Who Does It Belong To, is such a vital tool to add to your tool belt when you are changing things, whether it's an incurable disease or whether it's something that's not showing up well in your relationship or money flows or business or whatever it is. Does that help? Does that assist?
Yeah, no, that's cool. And so I see how that obviously that sticks both parties or all parties. But just that thing you said, so you buy the point of view, you've aligned and agreed with it, or resisted and reacted, but say you've aligned and agreed. So what you're saying is that then you've got to go and somehow create that disease even more to prove them and you right?
To prove them, it's to prove them right, or it's to prove them wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So everywhere where you're doing it to prove something rather than live your life, will you now destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yeah.
Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, corn, ice, short, boys and beyonds. But there was something there that you said that had a lot of energy on it. I can't remember what it was now. Oh, right.
You buy their point of view and then you make yourself sicker to prove them right.
Yeah, no, it was something else.
Okay.
I should have attacked it right there and then.
Okay.
So one of the other things that does not help is trying to find that 10 seconds of unconsciousness, that one stray thought that created your disease. It just doesn't work. So questions like why don't work. Open-ended questions like what, that works. What is this? Yeah. And then And then the reason you ask the question is to get an awareness, not to get an answer. Oh, okay. So I had a thought when I was 10 years old that I would not live past 50. Okay. That may be true, and that may be locking you up. But if you keep going back to trying to find that one answer that rules them all, you're going to drive yourself insane. And believe me, I know this one. And you can believe me on that, because when I say that, you know you've all done it. Yeah? Oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong to create this? It wasn't a wrongness. You're not wrong. It was just a choice, or that you aligned and agreed with somebody else, or you resisted and reacted to somebody else. Now, the great news is, if you're getting lost at all, you can read the book and have more information than that. Or you could come to the 3-day class that I've got in a couple of weeks called Happy Cure, where we'll be really diving into a lot more of the clearings and the tools that you can take with you to really create a different reality. And this is part of Curing the Incurable phase 2. Curing the Incurable phase 1 was more like, here's the tools to get out of the shit. Here's the tool to undig you out of the hole that you've dug yourself into. And now phase 2 is like, here are the tools to create a totally different reality that allows you to have total choice with what you're creating. Now, when Gary, at this time last year, Gary became aware that there were 10,000 people in consciousness now. So when you tap in to those 10,000 people choosing consciousness, it's more now. It's more like 11,000. When you tap into those people, and you tap into the planet, which is all about consciousness, and you tap into the stars and the infinite, which is all about consciousness. It doesn't have any judgment. You notice that? Like the flower on my book. You know, does that have any judgment? Does it go, okay, Margaret, you're ugly and I'm pretty? No, it doesn't do that. It doesn't judge you. It doesn't try to sell you a point of view. It just receives you as you being you, and you receive it as it being it. So when we in phase 2, when we're really willing to step into that infinite, that joy, that being us, into possibility, we can create anything. And when you tap into the 10 plus thousand people choosing consciousness, they will contribute to you. Okay, so if use the tool, who does it belong to, first for every thought, feeling and emotion, and then return it to center with all the consciousness attached, and then ask for a contribution from all the people that are choosing consciousness to create a different reality with your body. Yeah. Now, I went and saw a social worker the other day, which was really, really interesting, because I wanted to kill her. Yeah. She started off with, "Oh, you poor dear." I am not a victim. None of you are victims. If you have created a disease in your body, or a disease in your money flows, or a disease in your relationship, it means you're a powerful mofo. Okay. I really want you to get this. It's not because you're weak and pathetic. It's because you are an infinite being with multitude of capacities, but you're not using them for you. You're using them against you. Yeah, which comes back to the beginning where I was talking. Are you willing to be the voice that roars? It's not like that you have to be this big lion and you go around with swacking people. That's this reality's definition. And we'll be looking at definitions and those sorts of things in tomorrow's class. So please come along if you're interested in that. And every definition that you have, like, oh, if I have to be the lion that roars, or the voice that roars, I have to be like a lion. Well, some of you might be like mice, but mice doesn't mean that you don't have a voice and that you can be powerful and potent. A mice can, you know, scare an elephant. Yeah. So it's like your voice that roars will be unique to you in the way that you do it. So everywhere where you have defined that being you has to look a particular way that stops you from having the joy of you, would you now be willing to destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Good and bad, right, wrong, popcorn, ice shorts, boys and beyonds. So I've forgotten what I was talking about now. Any questions why I try to get back to...
Liam?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about, from the chronic point of view, from a chronic illness? Yeah.
Okay, I'm just putting those events in if you want to check those out. Yeah, so what's your question?
Does the same principles apply to your chronic conditions that you've been talking about? Like, I mean, you know, it's the same sort of thing, or is there any variances in between your acute and your chronic?
The only variance is the speed in which your body is destroyed.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you like torture, then you probably go the slow way.
Well, say that again.
It just came to me that if you like torture, you probably go the chronic way.
Well, that can be let's just call that an interesting point of view, because that may not be what some people are choosing, but it may be what you are choosing.
Yes, well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. But what the chronic point of view is actually trying to avoid death, because in this is why I'm talking about euthanasia too, because a lot of people that are anti-euthanasia, they have the sanctity of life, which means that you always have to be looking for where you're avoiding death. You always have to be careful. You can never jump off the cliff, you know, like, and you guys, that leads to a very boring life. I'm not saying literally jump off a cliff.
No.
But jumping off a cliff in your life, that may be that you have enough courage to write a book about being abused. It might be that it might be a million billion things for you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it can change consistently.
Yes.
So, but the chronic disease is really, because this reality is all about the sanctity of life, and at the same time it's all about paying your death and paying taxes and dying at the end.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal.
Yes.
Yeah? So we try to put that off for as long as possible. Is that actually living? And then can you ever take any chances in your life to step into a different possibility, or will you only choose those true and tried, tested paths that have been beaten by others to boredom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Playing safe.
That one.
I got a line of I got a line of that energy. Thank you.
Yeah. And like, whilst we're having this conversation, if you are new to Access, like, have a look at the energy of the class. When we're infinite beings, I am doing my very best to choose words that are going to create a change in your reality as you listen to this. So if you don't get it the first time, listen to this maybe 5 or 6 times, and what we'll start to do is you'll then get the cognition of it, which many of us need sometimes in order to go, oh, you mean it's just choice? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, some of us just need it, for 15 years. And that's not a rightness or a wrongness. You get it when you get it when you get it. And also, as you start to choose your life more and more and more, you get to be more aware of all the layers and all the lifetimes where you have brought other people's points of view, and like some days they might feel a bit Brit, but you can change things much more quickly, and with much more ease.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
So I guess like if you haven't heard this stuff before, if you have created a disease in your body, you're not wrong. I just said that earlier. You're not wrong. You're not right either. It's just a choice, and it's a power and potency. And if you're one of these people that keep choosing it, then you're living through some, horrendous diseases. It means you have a great capacity for life and living, even though you've chosen a hard way of doing it. So everywhere where you have chosen to do it the hard way rather than a way of ease and joy and glory, which is the exuberant expression of abundance, you don't want the exuberant expression of pain and suffering. Would you now be willing to destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, pock, all night, short boys and beyonds. Okay, cool. Well, this was really different. Okay, so we've got like 5 minutes. If anybody has got another question, that'll be great. If not, I'll wrap it up with a nice big bow.
I was going to say that when you're talking about the sanctity of life thing, people do go on about that a lot. They go on about that with abortion and all that sort of stuff too. But it's like, they make living as right, but dying is wrong.
Yeah, and yet we're all dying. You're either got a group of people that are dying to get out of this reality, or dying to hold on to their point of view to be right. And when you're holding on to a point of view that euthanasia is either right or wrong, how much living are you actually doing? Are you contributing to the planet? Are you contributing to creating more consciousness on the planet? Are you creating and contributing more joy to the planet? These are the things that you want to be functioning from, because when you're functioning from contribution to the planet, those points of view that you have brought as real, or that you have been resisting and making as real, they start to dissipate. It no longer becomes the kingdom of me and look how pathetic or how smart I am. It then becomes an interesting conversation with the planet. And what can I really be and do with the planet? It's not the oil refineries and the factories pushing out smoke that's killing the planet. Sure, it contributes to it. It's the people's judgments. If there were no people on the planet, there would be no judgment. This would be an amazing, spectacular place. Yeah. And that's why a lot of you don't like people, because of the amount of judgment that they're vomiting. Like, it doesn't just come out of their mouth. It's an ever-present thing that is going judgment. And how much of your life is given over to resisting that? Trying to keep it at bay. All of those walls, those barriers that you have to those people, how much energy is going out of your body, and how much energy are you cutting off from receiving from the planet by keeping those barriers in place? So right now, let's all close our eyes, and just for the last 2 or 3 minutes, just be aware of your barriers. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. And then just ask those barriers to lower and expand out, even if you can only expand out through the room where you are. And then just ask for all those beings that are choosing consciousness and the planet to contribute to your body. And that thought that just went through your head, is that really yours? How many times have you had that same thought? It's boring. Lower your barriers, and every thought, every feeling and emotion is a barrier to receiving. And again, expand out a little further. Receive more from the people and the entities that are choosing consciousness and the planet. The planet is your greatest source to creating a possibility beyond this human reality. It doesn't fit in this human reality. Even science says, mathematically, a bee cannot fly. You, my friends, are those bees. You don't fit, but you are still magic. You still fly. And everything that doesn't allow you to step into that today and every 10 seconds from now to eternity, and we now destroy and create it all. Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, and short boys in the house. And now, just before you open your eyes, can you tap into your body? What is it feeling now? More relaxation, more space, more energy flowing? What is it for you? Even if it's only a tiny little thing, acknowledge that. Because that lightness, that space, that energy moving, that, even if it's only small, is actually the truth of you, the truth of reality beyond this reality. And now, can you open your eyes and still maintain that space and ease throughout your day? Cool. I don't know about you, but I'm crying. How does it get any better than that? And it's not tears of emotion. It's just sort of like my body went, I've been running around all day. I forgot to drink any water from like 10 o'clock this morning till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock when I got home, and I was wondering why I was feeling tired, like not too bright, cute, not bright, cute, not bright, cute, not bright. Everything that is, can we destroy and uncreate it? All good, bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, no short boys and yes. Yeah, like somebody went, wow, cool. Now, if you're going to come on the molecular demanifestation, demolecular manifestation, I've got to warn you, it's $75 and none of you can afford it, so don't come on it. It's going to be an amazing class. And if you are creating a disease in your reality, I recommend coming on that as well. But we'll also be doing that three telecall series of Happy Cure. And it's going to be phenomenal because I am on the verge of like blasting my way into a totally different realm of realities. And I'm really, really excited about it. So what else is possible? And thank you all for showing up. That little exercise at the end was just so potent. I mean, I'm going to see if I can cut it out and send it all out to you guys, or you can do it yourself. And use it. It's only like 2 minutes long to get back to that. Well, not to get back to that space, but to expand into that space. Cool. Any questions? We're all good? Okay. Thank you for those new people that have come and braved Access Consciousness and the crazy Liam. And thank you for all of those people that really had my back and, keep coming back for more and more and more consciousness. Those people are just frigging amazing. It's not about just coming to my class. It's about you Those are the people that keep choosing, keep choosing, keep choosing. Okay, guys. See you soon.
Thank you, Lion.
Bye.
Thanks, Lynn.